everybody and welcome back. So today we are going to be adding functionality to the to-do app UI we built in the previous video, and which is going to look like this. We are going to be adding able to add task. So let me say add task, and you can see the task show up here in our list box. Let me add another task and then add more tasks. You can see that we can add tasks, and I can delete task by selecting a task and you can delete it. I can save tasks, and when I click save tasks, that task is saved. When I delete them and I say load task, you can see that the task I saved have been loaded. So that's what we are going to be building in this video, and let us get building. So in our code from the previous video, we can start to define our functions. So it will be add task and pass for now. So we need another function, which is the delete task function, and for now that pass as well. And we need another one, save task, and for now pass. And then the load tasks, for now that pass as well. So now let's connect all of those things to our buttons. So in the add task button right here, we want to say command. So we are adding the command argument. We say command equal the add task function that we wrote here. We say add task, and right here in the delete task, that we are also setting command to delete task. So the command, what is doing is that whenever you click the let's say the add task button, whenever you click the add task button, it is going to execute what we are going to define here, right? So now in our save task, let's also connect that quickly, and we say command equal save tasks, and right here also command equal load task. And that's it. And now let's kind of start defining our function. So let's say task true add equal list box add task variable dot get. So what we are saying here is that the add task variable, in this add task input, we are storing the input in a text variable which I created here. So now if we want to access that input that was stored in the add task variable, we need to use the get method. So that is going to get the add task variable and store it to our task to add. And if I say list box dot insert tk dot end to, and what we want to insert there is going to be our task to add. And if I save that and I run that, now let me say new task, and let's click the add task. Wow, it show up here. And what is cool about this, what is not good about this thing is that you can see that the new task is still in our entry box. We don't like that, right? And another bug that is there is that I can actually add empty task, and let me say something, and if I click add, you can see that when I click the buttons, without any task, uh, the it added empty tasks to our list box, which we don't like. And to solve that, it's a very quick fix. We could just use, let's first solve the um, empty task issue. So if task to add, you should insert that, and after you insert it, we want to say add task input dot delete, and what we want to delete from index 0 to tk the end. And when I save that and run it, you can see that if I say add new task, sorry, I didn't spell that right, and you can see that the add new task that I entered got disappeared from the list box. And if I click add task, I can actually add any task. You can see that that wasn't added. And to show that it is not going to be entered, let's add an else statement, and let's import something from the, let's import message box. So we're going to say import tkinter or message box as msg. So I'm going to say msg dot show warning, and the title is going to be warning, and what we want to say is enter, please enter a task. So let's run that. And now that I'm not entering any task, I'm going to say add task. You can see that we have this window, warning, please enter a task. Right, now that our add task function is working properly, let's create our delete task. So the delete task, we want to say what the cursor selected is going to be the task we want to delete, right? So let's say task to delete equal list box dot core selection, and the index of 0. So what we are saying here is that this task that is selected by this cursor and index 0 here, why we are adding that is we want to select only one task, so we want to be able to delete only one task at a time. So again, say then want to say list box dot delete task to delete, sorry, dot delete task to delete. Right, that is going to work. And if I say this task to delete me, it's rice and egg, get some coffee. And if I now, let's say I'm going to delete this task, and you can see delete, it got deleted, and delete, wow, it worked like charm. And now there's a problem also with our delete task. When I don't select any task and I say delete task, you can see that right here in my console I have this error. So we don't want error in our code, so we can just do something like, we could fix that with a try and except block. So I'm going to say try. So try to get item that is selected by the cursor, except, so the exception is index error. And when we have this exception, we want to say msg, let me just copy this, I'm going to copy and paste that. We want to say msg just show warning, and the warning we want to show is please not enter a task, select a task through delete. Right, so let's test that and see if it works. And if I say delete task without entering any task, you see you have this warning, please select a task to delete. Right, this is working properly, and now we should go to create in our save task function. So if I say tasks equal listbox dot get 0 to listbox dot size. So what this is going to be doing is going to get all the items in the list box, and from index 0 to the size of the list box, that's to the length of the list box. If it is 1, it's going to return only one item, and it is going to store them as a tuple. It's going to return them as a tuple. To see if it actually gets it, we're going to print tasks and see. So let's say get more coffee, watch a new tutorial, and let's say add something through the list box. Sorry, I'm supposed to click the add task. Now if I say save tasks, you can see that we have all the tasks that we entered in our console, right? It is exactly the same. So instead of printing that task, why don't we save them into a file, right? So we are going to import a module called pickle. So import pickle. So you don't need to install this module, it is already pre-installed. It is a built-in library. So I'm going to say pickle dot dump task, and we want to dump them. We're going to say open task.dat, and in a writing binary mode. So what we are saying here is that create a file called task.dat and create that file, open that in a writing binary mode so that we can write to the file, and what we want to dump into the file is going to be the task that is that was returned here, right? So I'm going to actually run that, and let's see if it works. So add some task. So create the load task function, verify if it works, and let's just say save tasks. And now that I save the tasks, let's kind of see if we have that file in our folder. So I'm going to say open file, and you can see that I have this task.dat that is created, and you can see that we have this chunk of numbers right here that you can't even understand, because we opened that file in a writing binary mode. So we wrote the task in a binary mode, right? So now let's create a function that is going to be able to recognize all those chunks, and is going to kind of display them in our list box for us. So I'm going to say tasks equal pickle dot load. So want to load open task.dat. So open that file, this time around in a reading binary mode. So this is going to read in a binary mode, and then we can say if um for task in tasks. So since it is returned as a tuple, so we need to kind of iterate through all the items so that we can add the item one by one to our list box. So I'm going to say for task in task list box dot insert. So what we want to insert, we want to insert it at the end, so every item should be at the end of another item, and what we want to insert is going to be the task. So saving that and running that, and now that I already saved a task back then, I'm just going to say load task, and you can see that I have this beautiful thingy, and it just works like charm. And you can see I can actually load task. Let's just kind of save them. Let's delete them. Let's delete. Load them again, and yeah, it works. So well, what we don't want is that we don't want to be able to save empty task and load empty task, right? So you want to say right here in our save task, I want to say before dumping that in the file, I want to say if tasks. So if there is a task, then we should do this, right? Else, if there is no any task, we want to show another warning. We're going to say this time around no tasks to save, right? Let's see. Now that I don't have any task, I'm going to say save task, and you can see we have this window. Beautiful, it worked properly. And let's in our load task also. So if I say if tasks no, let's say if tasks right here instead of there. So if task, then we want to load those tasks into our list box. Else we want to also show another warning, which is no task to load, right? So I already have a task loaded, so it's not going to actually show up now. And let's see something. So I'm going to navigate through my file, and in the file, and if I delete this task.dat, if I delete that task.dat, let me run my program and load task. You can see that I have exception, no file, no such file or directory, task.dat. We don't want exceptions in our code, so I'm going to use a try and except block also. So try to load this task.dat. So if there is no that task, if the such file does not exist, except we want to just grab any exceptions, and we are just going to show another warning instead of exceptions. So task.dat does not exist. So running that, and if I say now I've already deleted the file, I'm going to say load task, and you can see task.dat does not exist. But whenever we save something, let me just say something, .csm, and I'm going to save that task. And if whenever I save task, the file is being created, right? So when I delete and load task, and you can see that we don't have that error message task.dat. That error message will only pop up whenever the user deletes the task.dat file and he wants to load tasks. But whenever you save task before loading task, we don't have that error message, right? So this kind of brings us to the end of this video, but let's kind of add a little function. Like you can see that whenever I run the code, it's not focusing on this input, right? It is just an easy fix, right? You can just say add task input dot focus, and that's all. So let's run, and you can see that the input, our cursor is already set there, so you can just start typing whenever we just kind of load the task or run the task in the to-do app. So this brings us to the end of this to-do app, and if you have any question, let me know in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer all of your questions. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification icon to get all our latest video updates. And bye, see you next time, bye. And before that, cheers.